Crock Pot series begins today just in time for the cold weather with a delightfully creamy bacon and cheese potato soup. Moonshine Place Kitchen. Welcome folks, welcome friends. It's good to see you again here in the Moonshine Place Kitchen. We've got some potato soup to make today. It's good. The weather's turning cold, especially up in the northern part of the country, and you need a little something to stick to your ribs. Let's get going on this baby. She's really a good dish, crock pot dish. We're gonna do this little series of crock pot over the next several shows. We're gonna do several little dishes that we're gonna run the crock pot. It's simple as anything. Like I said, let's get started. So all we're really gonna need to begin this whole process is we're going to need about 4 pounds of potatoes. You can use Goldens, you can use Idahos, it doesn't really matter. And I've cut them up into 1/4 to 3/8 pieces, and I've cut them in half, more or less, like that, okay? And we're basically going to stick these in the crock pot. Now, I'm not running the crock pot on the stove, but for ease of demonstration, I don't have enough room on this counter, so I'm going to do it this way. So I've cut these potatoes up, I've skinned them, I've cut them, I've put them in some cold water to sit and pull some of the starch out of it, and in the crock pot that's going to go. A little bit of a mess, but in it goes, okay? Next, I made about 7 or 8 pieces of smoked applewood bacon, and I'm going to put probably about the better part of a half in there, maybe a little bit more. I want to reserve some for a little garnish for later, okay? Then I have 6 cups of chicken stock, okay? Chicken stock. And what I did is I actually went and bought the fresh chicken stock, the Swanson that comes in the cartons. For this application, I didn't want to use cubes. I wanted to use the fresher stuff that comes in the cartons. Of course, you can make it yourself, you know? Then, in addition to that, I have about, well, I actually ended up doing more than 1 onion, but one large onion, dice that up pretty good. See, I dropped the bowl in there, but that don't matter. But we'll get all that in there, okay? You don't want to cook the bowl in the soup. People will complain when they go to eat it, okay? Then we have about 6 cloves of garlic that I cut up fine, but I left some pieces a little chunky like that, because this is going to cook very, very long in the crock pot. It'll soften up, and you won't get that very harsh garlic flavor. And then thyme, about 4 sprickets of thyme, chop them up fine as well. We'll get those in, all right? And all we're going to do at this point, well, one more thing, 2 tablespoons of butter. You don't need to necessarily measure that. About 2, put a little chunk in there, a little bit more. Okay. So all we really have to do at this point is mix this all together nicely, and it'll go ahead and it'll marry itself up nicely. And I'm going to plug this in on high. I'm going to plug it in on high, and we're going to cook it for about 4 or 5 hours, okay? We're just going to let it simmer and cook for about 4 or 5 hours. Now, I said I'm going to plug it in on high, but I'm only going to let it stay high until it kind of boils, and then I'm going to put it down to low. Okay, and just let it simmer away for the next 4 or 5 hours. This is a perfect dish to cook. Get up in the morning, you can prep this stuff at night, get up in the morning before you go to work, plug it in. By the time you get back from work, just a little bit more. We're going to do this dish later on. Very, very simple, and you're good to go. Don't go away. When we come back, it'll be 6 hours, 5-6 hours on my end, but it'll be nothing on your end. Don't go away. It's going to be fun. Welcome back, welcome back. We're ready to do the final preparation on this delightfully creamy bacon and cheese potato soup. Okay, so the soup has been simmering here in the crock pot for, I'd say the better part of about almost 5 hours now. And as you see from the overhead shot, it's really, the broth has really come into a beautiful color. The potatoes and everything are very soft now. So what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just take a regular old masher and we're just going to start to mash these up a little bit finer, okay? Now, I don't want to mash them up too fine. I want to keep some potato pieces in there so that you have, you know, I don't want to make like mashed potatoes out of this, but at the same token, you know, I really want to, or you're going to really want to make it finer potatoes so that on each spoon, or almost each spoon of the soup, you're going to have a little taste of potato on there, okay? And you can see our bacon bits are in there. Everything's looking really good. You see? You're going to have to make a decision on your own on how much you really want to break the potatoes up. And I'm going to say that if you look at that texture now in the overhead, that looks pretty good to me. There might be 1 or 2 big pieces left in there, but let's go ahead and grab those. Not too small. Okay. So I bored you enough with breaking up the potatoes, but now we have a very nice, it's almost like a bisque, you know? Very, very nice. So the first thing we're going to add to this is we're going to put in the better part of 1.5 cups. I have almost 2 cups of Gouda cheese, fresh Gouda cheese. Get the real cheese. Don't buy the processed stuff, okay? So we're going to get that in, and we're going to mix that in, okay? Now we're going to use a little bit more Gouda when we actually serve it in the plate as garnish, but the first thing we're going to do is mix in some Gouda. So like I said, the better part of 2 cups. So let's get that mixed in a little bit, and that'll melt in and give a little cheesy flavor, okay? That'll be nice. And then the next thing we're going to put in is 2 cups of, well, 1.5 cups to 2 cups of sour cream. That all depends on your taste. We're just under 2 cups here of sour cream, and that will certainly give a lot of body to the soup and also add some color. Sour cream definitely makes a mess, but this is, I believe this is Breakstone sour cream, which is a good brand that I like. Is it Breakstone? I don't remember what brand this is, but it's good. It's really good. I tried a little bit of it before. All right, so once again, it's like anything else. You want to use good quality products whenever you're making anything. Let me get this completely out of the way. And then a cup of heavy whipping cream. Heavy whipping cream, put that right in there, okay? So that's going to be the basis of the second part of this soup, which brightens it up very nicely, okay? Now there's one more thing that we're going to add to this potato soup, and that is we're going to add a little Chardonnay. We're going to add about 1 cup of Chardonnay. Let me get this stuff out of the way. There's any cream left, okay? So here's some Chardonnay. I already pulled the cork on it, but I didn't pour any out yet. So let's try a little bit before we put it in there. We always got to make sure it's good. Maybe a little bit more. This is a Washington State Chardonnay. It's got a nice color to it. Smells good. Ooh, it is good. That's good. So we're going to put about 1 cup of that in. Put that in. Maybe a little bit more. All right, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this simmer up again, let this come back to a boil. Okay? Oh, the color is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to let this come up to a boil right now. And once it comes back to a boil again, I'm going to let it just simmer for about 10-15 minutes. And I think we'll have something. I hope we'll have something. Okay. I'll have it served up. We'll have it bowled up there in about 10-15 minutes. And we'll finish up the show. It's that easy, folks. Don't go away. We're ready to serve. Sit down and eat with us. A little piece of bread, a little soup. It's a good thing. Be right back. Whoa, and there you have it. There you have it. Beautiful, beautiful, creamy texture. The cheese, the bacon. We got a little chives, a little fresh salt, sea salt, cracked pepper. Got to have a little French bread in there as well. Chardonnay. That's a beautiful thing right there. Not a very expensive dish to make. Takes a little time, but boy, does that look good. Look at that. Just so savory, so delicious. Once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us on the Moonshine Place Kitchen, and we look forward to serving you again.